Welcome to the Badlands out near Devil's Thumb. I noticed I had a couple new subscribers, which was always a pleasant surprise. And I thought, well, I should go pick a more beautiful spot today. This is where I was originally. I think this is the first spot I did a video out here. And I was messing with the synthesizer, Boss pedal. Very fun thing to play with. This is my other favorite synthesizer, the Pro V Mini. It's portable as long as you can plug it into something like your cell phone or the dashboard of your truck or your computer if you want to stay at home. Very fun little toy to play with. But the synthesizer pedal turns your guitar into a synthesizer, and that is really cool, and it's surprisingly sophisticated. It's got 11 variations, and it's got different types in here, like bass, pad, lead, strings, bell, organ. So the last time I complained about how it kind of was sounding too much like an organ last time. So I'm going to see if I can get some different sounds out of it, some more synthy type electronic sounds out of it this time. So what I'll do is I'll find a nice variation, and then I will put it on probably sequence, and then I will mess with the tone and rate depth in the effect. You see these two knobs here? They've got outer knobs and inner knobs. So you can kind of control the vertical and horizontal of the wavelength. I'm assuming that's what that is. Like a synthesizer does. You think of it as a synthesizer, and then you realize you're able to control it simply by turning a knob in a certain direction, or the double with the outer knob and the inner knob. And you can hear it when you mess with it. So I'm going to play with this once again out here in front of a nice view. There's a canyon right below here. We're on the edge of a precipice right here. The cameras don't really do it justice. Pictures don't do this place justice. Videos don't do this place justice. But I'm doing my best. If you got a large TV screen and you're looking at it, or if you're watching in VR, you get a better idea, but it's nothing like the real thing, boy. But, all right, let's get started here. That's another thing about this knob too. You take one of these daisy chain cords. These are great when you want to link up a bunch of pedals in a row. They're expensive. I forget what brand name this is, but it ain't cheap. I got like 3 of them for $30. But I get them from my local store. I support the local community. But this pedal here, see how it's got its input and output? It's got a control input too. But you can actually loop it in on itself. That's the thing that's unique about the synthesizer. So it's repeating its own signal to itself and further processing itself, and you can do all kinds of manipulation with it that I don't even yet understand. Also, there's a nice little switch on the back here next to the power input. I like it because it's battery powered, but if you want to plug it in. But this will switch between guitar and bass. So even if you're a bass player, there's a switch for it specifically for your bass guitar. I'm just going to trust that the experts that designed this knew exactly what they were doing when they put that that function on there. Because some pedals really are meant for bass. There's bass pedals and then there's regular guitar pedals. It's all about signal processing. So I never understood why it would matter either way, but they know what they're doing. But I think that's interesting. So I'm going to switch it to guitar. And I'm going to try it without this send and return. It's going to do an input and output. And then we'll try the send and return and see how that manipulates the signal too. We'll see what happens. Because Matthew Enoch has no clue what he's doing. That's what the name of this YouTube channel should have been. Matthew Enoch has no clue what he's doing. But he always figures it out as he goes along. So we got the Lava Me 4. My favorite thing about it is not the electronics, even though they're interesting and they're cool. My favorite thing about it is that it's carbon fiber, 100%, neck and all, one solid piece. And once again, this model, unlike the Lava Me 3, did not have this little secret compartment where you can reach a truss rod. There's a truss rod going through here, so you can raise and lower the action if you want. The Lava Me 3 did not have that option. So that's one improvement between the former model and this model. But like I said, my favorite thing about it is that it is 100% carbon fiber. I can have it out here in the desert. I can have it out here I can go out to the ocean, the saltwater air. I could take it up into the mountains where it's freezing cold. I could take it out here to the desert where it's not blistering hot right at the moment, but I'm sure it does get very hot in the summer. It's tolerable right now. It's cold down there in the valley. You come up here and it's like, it's warm. And it's only, 9:45 in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Lava Me 4. Take a mild effect. I'm not going to use the drum machine. It's too distracting. This internal drum machine. See, it says Lava Me. Okay. Oh, I just turned it off again. Whatever. Turn on the Katana Mini. I'm going to make sure it's on. Try to pick in a pleasant effect. Let's try chorus. Good enough. I'm going to turn off the screen. So that's another thing. The screen is right here. So, you're playing and then your man nipples are touching the screen and changing the effects on you. Or switching options to some other function of the guitar. So you got to turn the screen off. And sometimes you're touching the screen and it turns on again. So you got to be a little cautious with it. Otherwise you're going to have to put a piece of duct tape over that. But it's still worth it. The electronics are still cool. They're very worth it. It's got a little amplifier of its own in here. And a volume button, a volume wheel on the inside. so now we know this should make some noise. I might just use a shorter. Try a shorter cord today so I don't get desert dirt all over my longer cord cable. I should start saying cable, not cord. Because when you're holding a guitar and you're talking about your chord, you're like, oh, you're gonna play a chord? No, I meant the power cable. It's not even a power cable. All right. So I don't have my strap, so it's gonna be a little awkward today. I don't feel like sitting in that weird chair. I might just park my big ass up here. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. That definitely doesn't sound like an organ. Might have to get that chair after all. Didn't want to do that on camera either. Let me see where I should put it so you can still see me when I sit down. Oh yeah, pretty much anywhere. A lot of people come out here. I haven't been able to use this spot in a while because I didn't want to infringe on the, kind of personal space of some other people who had the spot for a while. They had a big ass fucking toy hauler with slide outs, trailers for their off-road vehicles. They had dirt bikes, they had quads, they had those 4-person off-road vehicles, I forget what they're called, like Razors or something like that. They had all the cool toys, and they were parked right over here for a good solid week, maybe a little more. And I was like, damn it, they got my spot. Even though I could have been over here minding my business, it probably would have been fine, but I kind of would have been cock blocking their paths up and down the dunes here. So I just gave them their space, and I went on down the road, and I did a few videos down there. I found there's a nice little cubby hole down there where a lot of broken bottles and still people party out there. But it was fine. I did probably 4 or 5 videos right there in that spot. And this has got a great view. This is awesome, and there's no one in sight. I think I see some more. Yeah, there's a couple people down there. They've been down there for over a week too. They got a toy hauler, and they got one of those kind of vehicles. These guys had like vehicles. No, they had three. They had at least three, maybe more. They at least had two of those off-road vehicles, and then they had a dirt bike too. And that guy on the dirt bike was doing some daredevil shit. If you're able to zoom in on these dunes, you can see some of the paths, where people are taking vehicles up and down the dunes. And I don't know, those ones that are on the peaks up there, I don't know what kind of crazy mother effer is riding up to the tops of those things and going back downhill. But you must have balls of steel. But they're all over. Every single peak has got a path up there. And I don't know what it looks like to someone looking at this video, but these dunes are huge. This ain't just a couple piles of sand behind me. There's a big precipice right here, and there's these giant dunes. These are mountains, basically, of mud and dirt and sand and grit. This desert stuff is kind of crunchy, and it sinks in a little bit. It was really kind of spongy after it rained for a while, but it's getting pretty crusty now. But I'm gonna have to get some off-road tires because I can't. My tread's starting to peel apart. Anyway, okay, back to the fun stuff. And if anybody wants me to try out a specific pedal by itself or in combination with another pedal, let me know. And if I don't have the pedal, I'll go out and get it. No problem. Actually, I'm gonna get the HM2W, I think it's called, on Monday, and it's a heavy metal pedal, and I like it because they said because I think it's a Wazacraft Boss, and I got it on hold for me at my local music store, and I'm tempted to just go out to the BLM land north of Grand Junction to test it out on Monday, but I got some other appointments. But either way, if I test it out here, I'll go ahead and bust out my Schecter, because I think that'd be appropriate for it. The Schecter's got internal power, so it should be fine with this stuff. We'll find out. If it ain't, then it'll be a fail, and I'll have to do it back at the RV, which more of my videos are going to have to start being indoors as winter gets on. But every chance I get to come out here, I will take. Let's do some more messing around. So I got it on variation 8. 7. Okay, so the outer knob on the tone rate is the rate. The inner knob is the tone. We'll take it off of sequence. That is sequence. Yeah, let's mess around with that for a while. Okay, so we have a basic idea what that's sounding like. Let's try this function where you can feed that signal back in on itself. Let's see here. Sounds something happened. So as long as as long as it's ringing out, kind of has a sustain. But if I quiet the strings, it stops right away. It's interesting. It's because it's on. So if we change it to SFX, that's very synth-like. That's what the feel is. Let's take this off for a second. That sounds like a saw effect. I'm not really sure what this send and return is doing. strings on top of it. Let's turn up. What the? That sounds like some Nine Inch Nails shit where they're like running the record backwards or something. Got enough money, still looking for the cure. Again, I apologize that I'm holding this thing all awkward. See, the thing is, my strap doesn't fit this knob, and I got to get the right connector for it. But you got to remember to do that on Monday. Go pick up that HMW2 or whatever it is. Now, see, that sounds a little like an organ right there. I don't like that. See, if I was to hook up the compression sustainer to this, that would help out a lot. Let's see what happens when I put on the delay. I'm going to switch this over here to delay. That definitely, yeah, that is organ actually. messing around. Sounds like it favors the high strings on that function. Let's remember I got it on delay over here. See what happens if we put in a little bit of a T-wah. Sounds like something they play when the clown car comes out in at the circus. Doing it very gentle. could do is somehow connect these two synths at some point. I know these pedals don't like these different kind of cables, but maybe I can figure something out back at the RV. I'm going to start doing indoor videos. It's going to get pretty interesting. And I'll be able to demonstrate some of these other pedals a little more efficiently because I'll be able to put them on the floor without getting them dirty. Alright folks, that's it for now. I might make another video later today. I'm going to mess around with some stuff, and if I come across anything interesting, I'll post another video. Thanks for watching. Take a beautiful look at this area. I got no one around right now. There's the so-called devil's thumb. See if we can zoom in on it for you. That's one angle. Not the best angle. But, yeah. That's the Grand Mesa over there. I think. It's one side of it. Yeah. It's a long way up there. Lots of forests and lakes. We're out here. Yeah. I might try to drive down there at some point. I know there's another road that's not so steep I can take. Maybe I'll do that next. Thanks for watching.